What the hell? Bad. Worse. There's some of my traction back. Good shit.
I guess William never came back.
You know, come back at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up, bro. Oh, fuck,
bro. Your message, bro.
Fucking car was sluggish. Alright, fuck. Driver lines are garbage right now.
Man, it did more comments than the actual likes, man, which is crazy to me.
What did?
It's a tweet that I made the other day.
Car ratio.
Well, it wasn't by much.
Huh?
Still, it wasn't by much, but it's like, damn, dude.
All because of Forspoken, man?
Yep.
I want to know what kind of magical tires you got that you can just blow through this fucking weather like this. But okay.
This dude is like really close to So, this is a guy that's following me. Well, we're following each other, but he left a comment on the post like right when I made it, pretty much. I don't know, it was probably like maybe 30 minutes or something, some shit like that. Maybe even less. And actually, when did I post it? Yeah, I posted it at 11:30, 11:38. It was even less than that. It was like 5 minutes later, dude. Anyway, he posted a comment on the tweet, and uh his he so mine has 381 likes. His has 331.
What did he say? Give it up?
No, he no, he didn't say that. But it's just
What are
it's
people
like
liking?
basically like a rebuttal to what I said. It almost seems like what they're trying to do is get his response to ratio my tweet.
Well, I know, but what did he say exactly?
Uh, I mean, it's about Hi-Fi Rush. It's not even about Forspoken.
Oh my God, man! Come on!
Oh goodness.
So it's about Hi-Fi Rush. About what? Like, it's a good game? Like, I don't get it. You're not telling me anything.
I didn't think it mattered, to be honest.
You said that he has more likes than you, but it's like,
No, he doesn't.
I mean, he's
It's close.
close to it.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
because
are what are people
I just said
agreeing
that,
to?
I said that whatever the lackluster sales that Forspoken got, Hi-Fi Rush sold less. That's all I said. I put a picture of Forspoken better than Hi-Fi Rush, you know, and what he said was, um, he said Hi-Fi Rush is on Game Pass. He said so there's no actual uh, sales numbers. He said it's on a subscription, so it doesn't mean anything. The actual sales numbers, and he said he said doesn't mean shit. Plus, Hi-Fi is a hit. The other guy hit out the park with it and shit. And then he posted a picture of Forspoken with the 66 Metacritic on top of a crying PlayStation dude's face with a 60 Metacritic
My
60
fucking
Metacritic
goodness.
ad.
I'm look how childish they are.
Oh man, it's just funny, man. It's funny because this dude will jump in randomly, man. You know, he'll jump in randomly when I make posts. Like, not he doesn't do it all the time, but he does it like just sporadically. And then this was one of the situations. I don't know, man. You know what? That's not true. Because it seems like every time I talk about Hi-Fi Rush specifically, I don't know what it is about that game, man. Those people, it like triggers them when you talk about Hi-Fi Rush, man. It's like a trigger point, man. If you talk about Hi-Fi Rush, it's like, what'd you say? What? And then to say that Forspoken is better than Hi-Fi. You know how many views it got, man? This is what I'm talking about. It got like it got like almost 80,000 views, man. Let's see. Yeah, 78,000 views. That is really funny.
Get off my screen. God.
So, but I was looking at some of the other, like I said, I've been looking at some of the other engagements, man. And, you know, like you could have some of those people get like a fraction of that and get more, like more engagement. As a matter of fact, I just saw one.
I'm gonna get first place in this fucking rain, yo. Are they fucking kidding me?
So, okay, so this dude posted a picture, right? Um, or a tweet. He said Xbox is embarrassing Sony at this point, is what he said. And then he underneath he said MLB The Show 23. And then on the left side, on the left picture, he says Xbox free Game Pass, play 24th on the March 24th, smart delivery, auto HDR, free cloud saves, right? And then on the right side, it says PS5, $70, March 28th, $10 upgrade, no auto HDR, and then cloud saves needs PlayStation Plus. And then his tweet got 41,000 views, right? Which is 30,000 less than what mine did. And he got 710 likes.
Conspiracy theory, I tell you.
I don't even think it's a conspiracy, man. I just think, I mean, obviously, I don't know how the algorithm is affecting it per se, um, but I think it's pretty clear, man, that some of these guys are, some of these people, man,
Well, who's pushing
um,
it to make it to boost it though?
to boost which part of it?
Social media. What do you mean? You're
I
saying
don't
that
understand.
you're saying that they're what the fuck? You're saying that their social media posts are being pushed up, but then you're not telling me why or who's doing it.
I'm sure part of it, I'm sure part of it is the algorithm, which is a little bit abstract. The other part of it, I think, is the community, their community, the Twitter community, the Twitter gaming community. You know, I think there's like this like general kind of I don't know what you would call it. It's almost like a general sort of like uh I think it's people wanting to see, you know, Sony make a misstep or Sony fail and lose, and see Microsoft win and take like a definitive win. You know, that's what it seems like. You know what I mean? Because even I was looking at this because I didn't mention this earlier. It doesn't matter like what kind of, if anything related to PlayStation at all. I looked at all of it pretty much, like negative, even positive. Like somebody who makes a completely positive tweet, it's not a console war related anything, right? It's just somebody, like, oh, I really like this about, whatever PlayStation did, right? It'll get a lot of engagement, right? But it gets, in order for it to get the same amount of engagement, it needs like 3 times as many views. So that's kind of telling me to a degree, I don't understand like why it's doing it per se, that a lot of people are seeing it and they're not engaging with it, you know? So the algorithm is probably pushing it, but people are just not engaging with it. So
Which things make it think.
yeah, which makes it sink, and it's like it's like it leads me to believe that the people don't agree with it, you know, most of the time, or they don't agree as much with it. You know what I'm saying? But like if you see like I said, anything like pro Xbox or anything that's like, Microsoft is doing better, or Microsoft is winning, or Microsoft is coming up, or any, like, I'm telling you, if it has anything to do with like Microsoft and Xbox and pro, anti Sony, anything like in that ballpark, it gets a lot of engagement, like a lot, so you'll get, like I said, you'll get less of the viewerships and more engagement, you know? So like my tweet, for example, right? It was 385, right? It got 70, almost 80,000 views with 385, right? This other guy, right? And well, it was console war related, right? But the other guy did something similar, something console war related, right? Troll tweet. It was in the same vein, the same ballpark of like, trolls, console war, but it was just one was pro Xbox and one was pro PlayStation, essentially, right? And his tweet got a lot less viewership, right? So it didn't reach as many people, but it's like the people who saw it, who actually engaged with the tweet, engaged more with the tweet. So they liked it, they retweeted it, and all that stuff, you know, um, seemingly. I mean, as far as the algorithm, I don't know exactly how the algorithm like processes that and pushes it in front of people, but that's what it appears to be, you know. Just from kind of looking at it over the last, like, I don't know, I've been looking at it for a little while now, last month or so. Actually, it's probably been a little longer than that, but yeah, it's weird, man. It just leads me to believe that there's just a lot of people, at least in the gaming Twitter, right? Because that's the funny thing, right? You see this on Twitter, right? You see this kind of engagement on Twitter, but there are a lot of people who are still buying the products, right? Sony's products. They're doing well. The consoles are selling. Like, all that stuff is up. You know what I mean? Like, people are engaging with the products and stuff like that. Which makes me wonder if it's just a social media thing, where there's like a small, minute, like, niche of loud people, right? Who are specifically like trying to, make it seem like Microsoft and Xbox as a brand is doing better than what it is, and then a lot of people on gaming Twitter just don't want to, like, engage with Sony stuff, regardless of what it is. You know, I was even looking at when Sony makes like big announcements. You know what I mean? Like the couple weeks ago when they did the State of Play, I looked at how many viewerships they got for that. No, not the State of Play. Sorry, it was the other thing that they just announced the other day, or last week. What the fuck was it? I think it was that play, the fucking the thing that they were doing with the celebrities. It was some shit like that. Anyway, it was kind of like a relatively, like, I guess what you would say, like a significant announcement. But it got, like, I don't know, I think it was 11,000 likes, right? The post got over, I think it was over 3 million views. Over 3 million. Man. That's crazy to me. So a lot of people saw it, but they just didn't engage with it. A lot of Sony's posts, man, they don't get that much engagement, man. Period.
I think I know why. I'll tell you in a second. I don't think it's anything sinister. I think it's just the way that things are. I think that it's like a duh moment. Like duh, of course. Move on. So it's like, what's the point of like me liking it when everybody already knows this shit? So when Microsoft does something, it's like, oh wait, what did they do exactly? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's like bigger news. Yeah, it's like more significant news.
Right. You'll get the views, but you won't get any engagements, which has a side effect. That's what social media is dangerous. It creates that. Oh my God, get on the track! Oh my God.
I'm afraid to walk away from my PS5, man, because I think the
Why?
headset is going to start disconnecting.
Hasn't stopped you before.
Well, I noticed recently it's been disconnecting worse than what it was before. That's why I'm saying it. So maybe it's because the battery is dead.
What are you trying to do?
I was just gonna go downstairs and look for like a snack or something because I didn't really eat today.
Sure you haven't.
I mean, I had some food earlier, but that was pretty. I had like some granola and I had some chicken. So I took some of my sister's ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice
Maybe,
cream.
maybe it's a sign. Just sit your ass down.
What do you think?
Stop eating shit.
I didn't even eat any. I don't particularly think it's anything sinister, and I don't think it's like a conspiracy. I just think that a lot of people, um, well, the reason why is the question, you know, because anybody can talk about why the algorithm is pushing, engagement one way or another. Clearly, I mean, I would think Twitter would push engagement towards whatever's popular. You know what I mean?
Bro, who
Um,
determines the popularity is the people themselves. When you do
yeah,
dramatic, ridiculous shit, yo, it makes it provocative. Xbox winning anything is a provocative statement
yeah.
because it's against the norm.
Yep. I almost feel like,
I got in some engagements with Hogwarts when everyone like didn't know exactly what the game was, or if it was good until like the reviews came out, and then it stopped being provocative.
yeah, there's water under the bridge.
Oh my God! I knew I wasn't looking.
The only reason why I say what I say about people wanting to see Microsoft win is because it's not just the engagement, it's like everything else that's like surrounding it as well, you know, because there's been a lot of like hate for Sony and PlayStation in the media like ever since the PS5 launched. You know what I'm saying? And even before Elon took over and he started showing all of the analytics on the tweets like he is now. I mean, I know it was there, but it's easier for people to see it now. But even at the time when he didn't, a lot of Microsoft's tweets were getting like a ridiculous amount of engagement, and they weren't saying anything crazy at all. As a matter of fact, a lot of their engagements were very like, I mean, a lot of their tweets were like, they were kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like what you would see just a regular person post, kind of like an enthusiast. Yeah, that's what it was. Kind of like
Very
they were
basic.
very basic, very like enthusiast, centric. You know what I mean? Stuff like what was one of the things that they were saying? They were saying stuff like oh who else has a whole backlog of games and stuff. Like just weird stuff that you kind of see people, like not weird, but just normal stuff that you see people saying online. Like, oh my god, my backlog grows every day. I have so many games. You know what I
But
mean?
that
Like,
statement is provocative in itself when you talk about Xbox, because what games?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like the bare minimum.
What games is backlogged?
But you get what I'm saying, though, right?
Ex
It's like,
PlayStation, if you would have did that shit, there are a lot of games.
yeah.
That's when I make somebody really question your shit, yo. Like, so many games. Which ones?
Yeah, man. So that's what I think, man. I just think that, there are a lot of people. I think it's in the vein of what we were talking about before, where it was like, I think it's a part of human nature, you know what I'm saying, to a degree. People, they're all cool and fine, like when you have the underdog, which at the time was Sony, right? Coming from PlayStation 3, from the 360 era into the PS4, they were still kind of like the underdog, right? And Microsoft had made a big mistake, and Sony took the reign and they kind of ran with it, right? And it's funny because in the PS4 generation, yeah, I know the PS4 generation started off slow, but like towards the middle and the end of the generation, Sony was the one that was viewed as like the better premium console, with the better content just across the board. Like it was like no competition, no contest, period. You know. And then it's weird because as soon as we got into the PS5 generation, all of that changed. All of it. And this, it was like that with the PS4 generation, even with Game Pass. Because Game Pass released back in 2017, man. That was like 6 years ago. So that was in the middle of last generation. And they were still getting a lot of engagement. So there wasn't like this whole thing about pushing Game Pass like it is now. But like when we get into this generation, all of that changed, man. 2019 was a really good year, and then 2020 hit, and then it all went to shit. All of it. Sony did this, Sony did that. $70 games this, $70 games that. This game this game that. It's like, what? Come on, bro.
But they weren't missing. And it was just like people were saying anything against the grain so they can get engagement.
Yeah, man. And they beat it. They beat it into everybody, man. It was like almost like every other week, man. There was some stupid article that came out, or some ridiculous, some news that had hit or something like that. And it was just crazy, man. But either way, man, they were getting a lot of engagement up until the PS5 generation hit, right? And then that's when Microsoft, because I think there was like a mental shift. Like where everybody was like, oh, this is a new generation. Microsoft has Game Pass, which at this point they already had a couple of years to kind of get some stuff in there. Whether you like it or not is one thing, but they had some stuff in there, right? And then, like I said, they released. As a matter of fact, before they even released the console, they had that big trailer for Hellblade 2. Right, at the VGAs, right? And that was supposedly, right, the beginning of next generation. Because at that point, it was still a lot of rumors and stuff, and we didn't really know what anything looked like. And I think they even revealed the way the console looked, and they were the first ones to do it. So Microsoft was kind of like viewed as like, we're starting off next generation. We have this amazing trailer. It looks awesome. It looks like it could be a next generation game. And Sony's just been quiet. We don't know shit. Right? And we have Game Pass, all these games you see are coming into Game Pass and all this stuff, right? And then the consoles hit, right? That actually started the generation. And that's what people were running with. And what made it worse is like Sony announced that they were upcharging their games and stuff like that, and they were missing features on the PS5 and, just a bunch of stuff, right? So I think there were like a lot of people. But that being said, right, they still didn't really miss though, because they still launched their console with a bunch of. It's funny because they still launched their console with more titles than what Microsoft did, which is that's the crazy part, And it's like they didn't really miss. They were just like there were a couple things missing here and there, but I think a lot of people had this mental shift where it's like, you know what, man, I think I'm kind of tired of Sony being on top. I don't give a crap about Demon Souls looking amazing. or Spider-Man, you know, because Spider-Man's just Spider-Man. And forget Sackboy, whatever. Well, Sackboy and Astrobot. I mean, it's cool, but it's a little tech demo or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's nothing really.
I think it really boils down to people want to be different, and when something becomes the norm, they immediately reject it, and that can be related to success.
In what way?
If something is successful, it means that it's the norm, it's popular.
Yeah.
So it makes them go against the grain.
Yeah, just a way of saying, yeah, going against the grain.
Like, I think there's a lot of people that want to get rid of Apple, but they're so comfortable. They got everything there. Sony's not at that level yet, where people are that comfortable and they will stop fucking complaining. And Nintendo got there after like 30 years.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. PS3 generation threw a wrench in all of that. You know,
It's dead, but it also strengthened it. You know what I mean?
I think so.
You know what I mean? Can't get stronger without tribulation.
I agree. Yep. And you know the funny thing, and I think that's why a lot of people have, you know, contentions with what Microsoft is doing right now, because it's like instead of actually trying to do better, they're trying to change the playing field. You know what I mean? Instead of like, you know, measuring the success by how many people engage with your console and how many you know, how many games you can get out to people and stuff like that. It's all about, you know, how many subscribers you have in your service and how many people you get like engaged with your games and stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't know. And it's like they're trying to, like they said, man, try to reach everybody and everything: mobile, PC, console, tablet, TV, bathtub. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Complete global saturation.
Yeah, you know, and it's like it's been even more clear, you know, to me ever since they were purchasing Bethesda, you know, that they were trying to like
I was talking. My bad. Go on.
and that was pretty much it, man. Yeah, I mean, like they're just trying to change like the whole, you know, the whole landscape of how the whole gaming industry is kind of like operated for a long time already as it is. You know, buying up multi-platform publishers and making them exclusive and taking content off the play field, so you know Sony doesn't have access to it and all this kind of stuff, man. You know, like to me that tells me that they're not really trying. Instead of like what happened with Sony and the PS3, where it threw a wrench in their machine, right? But it made them stronger, like you said. It's like, well, the Xbox One threw a wrench in their machine, but instead of getting better, they're trying to change the method, you know? And it's like, dude, you know, this is not and then you have all their fans who were like, oh, you know, they're just competing. I'm like, motherfucker, when have you ever seen somebody buy a whole ass publisher full of titles and IP that were all exclusive? Like, please tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not competition, bro. That's Microsoft trying to